Was the lowest level you can beat Pokemon Red and Blue using a Wheezing. We are on to Lorelei. So we're going to go for Sludge right away here because we want to do a little bit of damage to the Dugong because the Dugong is going to be stuck in a rest loop. So when it uses rest, we actually want it to go to sleep, and we don't want to waste our Thunderbolt PP because we're going to be using that the whole battle. Lorelei has that quote-unquote good AI. The AI sees Wheezing as a poison type and Rest as a psychic type move, so it thinks it's super effective, though it's a non-damaging move. I think I have about 4 turns to knock out the Dugong, otherwise you can't get past the Dugong. Cloyster is always going to do a little bit of chip damage. It's not too big a deal because it has pretty bad special, so our Thunderbolt should take it out in 2. Lorelei goes for the Super Potion, didn't really matter. Still getting it in low range here. Then I just have to tank 1 more Spike Cannon. Only 2 hits, and so that's good. Something to note is in multi-attack moves, if it gets a critical hit on the first one, the rest of them will be. So if that happens, you're pretty much over. So then I go ahead and Mimic Amnesia. That's not only going to help us for our special, for our Thunderbolt, but it's also going to raise our speed and our defenses as well. Even though special goes for attack and defense, it's raising our special because of the badge boost. And Slowbro as well is going to be stuck in an Amnesia loop because Amnesia is a psychic type move, so Slowbro can't do anything to us either. So it's a pretty good thing to set up against, and we had our EXP go, so we'd level up right after the Cloyster, so it should be a pretty clean move from here on out. I did get frozen once on that Ice Punch, but other than that, not a whole lot can go wrong. And then we're going to go ahead and Thunderbolt the Lapras, and that's the game. So there we go. That was Lorelei down. Wheezing's looking pretty good. Pretty happy about this. So the question I ask you is, what's the lowest level you can beat Pokemon Red and Blue using a Wheezing? We are on to Bruno. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. If you were going to skip one, this would be the one to skip. Because I could not make it any shorter. So basically what we do here is we are doing Smoke Screen, so Onix can't hurt us because it does have some moves that would do some damage. That way I feel a little safer mimicking Harden. Once we get all the Hardens off, there's not a whole lot Bruno can do to us. We'd only have to worry about the Hitmonchan because that does have special moves. But even that being said, we just leveled up after Lorelei, so the Harden is also raising our special. We already have pretty decent special, so we're not too worried about it. The reason this one took so long is because of Onix. Thunderbolt wasn't going to do a whole lot to it because it wouldn't do any damage, and so I basically just had to wait for Poison to knock it out. It did start using Rage, and I don't think Rage would have done anything if I would have kept attacking. But Sludge was doing so little damage because it's a physical attacking move, and Onix has enough defense buff where it's literally doing like 1 damage, and it just wasn't worth it to raise its attack because it's in Rage. So I just kind of used Smoke Screen even though it's doing nothing. The Poison's doing its job. So again, if I try to speed these videos up too fast, it'll cut off the last part of the video, so I can only go about 2 times speed, or maybe like 2.5 is the max I can go. So apologize for you having to watch this. So I would leave now if you value your time. But once the Onix is out, we are going to be able to take out the other Pokemon pretty easily. And like I said, we have those defense buffs. And that's pretty much how it's going to go. So I'm just going to ramble this out here. A comment I get quite a bit is, oh, it'll be easy with that Pokemon. And so the whole goal with this is, as long as you don't over level the Pokemon, I want none of them to be easy. I don't want to get to the end and not have to rely on at least a little bit of luck, because that means somebody else could just come in and take the world record no problem. So the whole idea of this is what is the lowest level you can get through the Elite Four with these Pokemon, right? So obviously I could get Wheezing up to level 80 and I could just walk through the Elite Four. I don't think that would surprise anybody. But getting to Agatha at level 44, level 45 for a Wheezing, that's like pretty sweet. Because I don't know about you guys, when I was a kid, I know a lot of the times the Elite Four and, Red and Blue, Gold and Silver, Ruby and Sapphire, they would give me trouble. And I'd go catch a legendary Pokemon. And now that I'm older and I'm beating these games with some like second-rate Pokemon at a pretty low level, it just shows me how stupid I was as a kid, right? No, I'm kidding, but it kind of helps you see. I don't think the Pokemon games are getting overtly easier. I think that a lot of us are just adults now. And you can do things in the game to make it more difficult. The games are as easy or as difficult as you want them to be, and I think this challenge really highlights that fact. Put your battle style to set. No free switching. Don't use legendaries. Don't use, 3 or 2 evolution Pokemon, right? Stage 2 Pokemon. Use some of the lesser known ones and don't over level and don't fight every trainer, and the game can be pretty difficult. So that's kind of what's fun about this. Again, I apologize for the long video. It's kind of what I had to do. So, but that's the knocking it down, almost at full health. So the question I ask you is, what's the lowest level you can beat Pokemon Red and Blue using a Wheezing? We are on to Agatha. Yeah, I know. Ouch. Look at that level. 68. I tried mimicking Hypnosis, tried mimicking Nightshade, tried all sorts of different techniques. I tried Confuse Ray, I tried using more smoke screens, I tried so many different things, and I tried so many different times at each level in between 45 and now. And I just wasn't getting through. Nothing was doing enough damage to take anything out. I think the Gengar, the level 61, should have about 160 HP. So you need to be like around level 55 to knock it out in 3 Nightshades. Thunderbolt wasn't doing that much. So finally we got to a level, and then Thunderbolt just seemed to be the way to go after a while. And even with this, I got lucky. I mean, this wasn't the first attempt at level 68, right? So what you're seeing is a pretty smooth looking run. But it takes a round of confusions and a couple Nightshades, and God forbid they put you to sleep or anything. So it was a little unfortunate because I thought Wheezing was doing really well, and as you'll see in the Lance battle, things could have gone a lot better. So a little disappointing for Wheezing, but still on world record pace, so we're good to go there. So the question I ask you, what was the lowest level you can beat Pokemon Red and Blue using a Wheezing? We are on to Lance. So against the Gyarados, we have Thunderbolt, 2 times super effective, so that's pretty sweet. And then Lance has what Loreley has, is what we call the good AI, meaning it sees Agility and Barrier as psychic moves, and it sees Wheezing as a poison type, so it's saying, hey, I should probably just use this psychic type move because it's super effective. In reality, it does no damage, so we have a pretty free setup. I didn't go for the agility on this one yet because I wasn't sure when I was going to level up. I forgot to check. I was just going to wait to see if I leveled up here, and I do. So I'm going to actually set up on this next Dragonair with the agility because I want to outspeed the Aerodactyl. The Gyarados and Aerodactyl are the only things in this battle that can actually do damage, and Gyarados was an easy one-shot, and at me being such a high level, we definitely outspeed. But now we've got our badge boost, using Sludge to knock these things out, and then the Aerodactyl we're going to go ahead and hit with a Thunderbolt, and it should be badge boosted. So we go ahead and take that out. Sorry for the notifications, it's fantasy football season coming up soon. Then I figure I'm just going to go for Sludge on this guy because it's a physical move, and it seemed to be doing well against the Dragonairs. Again, it uses Barrier, can't do a whole lot. And there we go. That's a Lance. So the question I ask you is, what's the lowest level you can beat Pokemon Red and Blue using a Wheezing? We are on to Blue. So it is a bit unfortunate. You saw how easy Lance was. That Agatha made us get to such a high level. But Blue is no joke. The Pidgeot is. We just use Thunderbolt. But the Alakazam is not. We go for Sludge because its physical defense is very bad, and Sludge is a physical attacking move. We get lucky, it goes for Reflect twice. If it uses a Psychic, it is not good. Even Side Beam's not great. But 2 Sludges go ahead and take it out. We then have the Rhydon. I go ahead and I try for Fire Blast here because I figure Sludge, with its good defense and it being ground type, is not going to do a whole lot, and Thunder, of course, won't do anything. But Fire Blast goes ahead and gets it to a Sliver. But then we get a nice little burn there, and the burn does the job for us. And then we are moving on to Arcanine. Arcanine I'm not overly concerned about. I'm going to go for Thunderbolt. I don't know if Sludge would have done more, but at the end of the day, a 2-hit KO is a 2-hit KO. It does get a burn on us, so that's going to solidify us using Thunderbolt. I'm not 100% sure if burn cuts your attack power in Gen 1, but I'm just assuming it does. But then we go ahead and use Sludge on the Executor because its special is good and it's part grass type, so it'll be super effective, and we get that stab. It's going to use Barrage, but nothing's crazy. As long as it doesn't get a critical hit on Barrage, it's not a big deal. In Gen 1, if you get a critical hit on those multi-attack moves, they're all critical hit. I think here I was just debating on what to do. I don't know why, but I'm going to go ahead and go for Sludge here. And then we just have the Blastoise left over, and I have Thunderbolt, so we're looking pretty good here. But it's not free. I mean, a Hydro Pump would not have been good, but we get lucky. It just goes for Bite. Doesn't take us out. So level 70 is a level. The burn's covering it up, but that's a world record there as far as I could tell.
70.
So the question I ask you is,